Your roadmap to the latest in auto, welcome to Highway Herald. Canada is hitting the gas on a bold economic shift, shaking up automotive and energy markets. What began as a reaction to US trade pressure has turned into a full-throttle push for independence. With 18 major projects fast-tracked in mining, infrastructure, and renewables, Canada is no longer reacting, it's taking charge. Washington's tariffs aim to tighten control, but they've ignited a self-reliance surge. Could this reshape North American trade? Let's explore the 7 key shifts driving Canada's transformation. Shift number 7, the US trade gamble that backfired. Trade tariffs were meant to boost American industries by limiting foreign competition, but they had an unintended consequence. They fueled Canada's determination to break free from US dependence. For decades, Canada's resource wealth, metals, minerals, and energy flowed south with little resistance. But when Washington tightened restrictions, Ottawa hit the throttle on a self-reliant strategy. British Columbia responded fast, launching an ambitious infrastructure overhaul to accelerate 18 major projects in mining, energy, and transportation. Canada is no longer waiting on US approval. It's building its own future. Strategic investments in pipelines, ports, and power grids are creating new trade routes, strengthening global partnerships, and ensuring no single country dictates its economy. The US aimed to tighten control, but instead, Canada is rewriting the trade playbook and shifting the balance of power. Shift number 6, the pipeline shift. Canada's move toward energy independence. For decades, Canada's oil and gas lifeline ran through the US, with most of its crude heading south via cross-border pipelines. But now, Canada is revamping its entire energy highway to steer clear of a one-market dependency. East-west pipelines, long seen as impossible due to logistical and regulatory hurdles, are now on the fast track. This means Canadian oil and gas can move freely between provinces, instead of flowing straight into US refineries. At the same time, Canada is making huge strides in renewable energy, with wind and solar projects expanding at record speeds. The outcome? A resilient, self-sufficient energy network that not only secures Canada's domestic market, but positions it as a key competitor in the global energy game. The era of depending on the US for energy exports, that chapter is closing fast. Shift number 5, the mining boom, fueling the future. But Canada isn't just doubling down on traditional energy, it's digging deep into the future of mobility. The world is racing toward electrification, and that means demand for critical minerals, lithium, copper, and rare earth elements, is skyrocketing. These minerals are the backbone of electric vehicle batteries, renewable energy grids, and next-gen tech. Right now, China dominates this market, but Canada is making moves to become a major global supplier. By fast-tracking mining projects, Canada is shifting gears from a resource-exporting nation to a tech-enabling powerhouse. Not only will these new mines fuel its own EV sector, but they'll also make Canada an indispensable supplier in the global transition to clean energy. If this plays out as planned, Canada won't just be competing, it'll be leading the charge. Before we delve deeper, we'd appreciate it if you could subscribe to Highway Herald. Your support fuels our passion to create more content like this. Now let's explore shift number 4, ports and logistics, the silent game changer. While pipelines and mining dominate headlines, Canada's biggest transformation is happening at its ports. In a world where supply chain disruptions are the norm, fast, efficient shipping is crucial, and Canada is revamping its logistics strategy to take the lead. Major port expansions in Vancouver and Prince Rupert are positioning Canada as a North American trade powerhouse. These upgrades bypass US bottlenecks, giving manufacturers, exporters, and automakers a faster, more cost-effective alternative. And that's just the beginning. Shore power technology is being deployed, allowing cargo ships to plug into clean electricity instead of burning fuel while docked. The result? Lower emissions, reduced costs, and a stronger trade position. By modernizing ports and securing direct trade routes, Canada is becoming a logistics powerhouse, no longer dependent on US infrastructure. For automakers and suppliers, this changes everything. Shift number 3, Canada's green energy revolution, betting on the future. Canada is modernizing its energy infrastructure while making a bold push into renewable power. Wind farms, solar grids, and large-scale battery storage are rapidly expanding, especially in remote regions where stable electricity has been a long-standing challenge. But this shift isn't just about reducing emissions, it's about energy security and economic resilience. By investing in renewables, Canada is insulating itself from volatile oil prices and supply chain disruptions. And there's an even bigger opportunity. Global demand for clean energy is soaring. With Europe and Asia actively seeking reliable green energy partners, Canada is positioning itself as a top supplier of renewable tech and infrastructure. Rather than staying tied to the boom and bust cycles of fossil fuels, Canada is gearing up for a diversified, future-proof energy economy, one that could redefine its role on the world stage. Shift number 2, infrastructure overhaul, the backbone of Canada's economic transformation. Mining and energy may dominate discussions, but without strong infrastructure, everything stalls. That's why Canada is investing billions into upgrading roads, railways, and digital networks to support its growing industries. This isn't just about smoother highways, it's about global competitiveness. A modernized logistics system means faster trade routes, lower shipping costs, and greater efficiency for sectors like automotive manufacturing and high-tech exports. As global trade evolves and new alliances take shape, Canada isn't waiting, it's building a foundation for independence. By modernizing transportation and supply chains, the country is ensuring it can thrive without outdated agreements or U.S. trade reliance. Make no mistake, Canada isn't just keeping pace, it's preparing to lead. With these investments, it could soon become a global trade hub, shifting the balance of economic power. Shift number 1, Canada's trade shakeup, cutting the U.S. cord. One of the biggest moves in Canada's economic transformation is its aggressive push to diversify trade partnerships. While the U.S. remains an important partner, Canada is making it clear. It's done being dependent on Washington's policies. New trade agreements with Europe, Asia, and emerging global markets are already in the works, giving Canada fresh opportunities to export its resources, technology, and agriculture on its own terms. Instead of waiting for the U.S. to decide the rules of trade, Canada is taking control of its own future. For decades, Canada's economic fortunes have been tied to U.S. decisions. Now, the country is proving it can thrive on its own. If these strategic partnerships work out, Canada won't just be a supplier, it'll be a leader in global trade. The final verdict. Is Canada changing the game for good? There's no denying it. Canada is in the middle of one of the most dramatic economic transformations in its history. By accelerating infrastructure development, embracing renewable energy, modernizing mining, and forging new trade deals, the country is positioning itself as a global economic force, not just a U.S. supplier. But the real question remains, will it work? Massive changes like these don't come without challenges. Shifting trade alliances, political pushback, and the sheer complexity of executing these projects mean that nothing is guaranteed. But if Canada pulls it off, it could reshape North American trade forever. So, what's your take? Is Canada's bold new direction a masterstroke that will make it a global leader? Or is it biting off more than it can chew? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. And if you found this deep dive insightful, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update from Highway Herald. We've got more exclusive insights and industry updates coming your way, so stay tuned.